Hello, this is Tim from Two Blokes from Blighty, and before we get into the main episode, we're going to hear a little message from our friend, Josh, from Talking Smack. Take it away, Josh.
Forget
about it.
What's up, nerds? This is Josh from Talking Smack, where we talk superheroes, movies, animation, comics, and so much more. Every week, we break down the latest blockbuster movies, TV shows, revisit comic events. We even talk to comic creators like Kyle Higgins, Melissa Flores, and Matt Groom. And don't miss out on our Superhero Showdown episodes where we debate your suggestions on who would win in a fight, or maybe they might become friends. So join in on the conversation with me, Josh, and my co-host Alex every Wednesday on your podcatcher of choice. Look for our yellow and red icon, and we'll see you soon, Smackheads.
Tim, you said to me, I don't gamble, I invest. It's just ridiculous. I was saying how good Just Football is before I talked about Tim being a gambling addict. Don't you want me, baby? Don't you want me? Whoa, oh, whoa, whoa.
Ah, like Puddle of Mud.
And he fucking hates you, Tim. And I knew someone in the movie business, knew someone who ripped illegal DVDs.
He's done a really shit job of getting out of the way of the police, and then he sped up, and the police, there were 2 police cars going after him. So I went down the harbour.
It was like, I'm very, very surprised that there is more Welsh people on here with that bloody speed limit change. He kept saying, you're all very good drivers. And I was like, there's one thing that suggests maybe we're not all very good drivers.
What does everyone here have in common?
Billy Von Billy, my favourite so far. Don't you want me, baby? Don't you want me? Whoa, oh, whoa, whoa. Welcome back to Two Blokes from Blighty. My name is Joey Fitzgerald. I'm joined by 3 possums in a trench coat. Tim Fitzgerald, how are you doing?
Ooh, another white boy with a podcast.
Very good.
Very
I'm
good.
on the cover. Is it working?
Well, I was convinced you were a human, so
Clearly.
have been for 30 odd years. How you doing,
Yeah,
Tim?
I'm alright. How about you?
I am A-OK. How are you feeling about having had a week off from Two
It
Blokes?
was weird. I went to go and listen to the episode on Wednesday and was like, oh yeah.
Yeah, full clarity, it's my fault we didn't record. I was not well.
Say fault.
Still am not well.
You say fault. Like, you can't really
It
fault
is
that.
fault. Well, I do. I've re-recorded episodes when I've been more sick than I am now. I mean, I'm not sure how much the listener wants to hear me go and hack something up.
They're looking for
That
a
was me
different
hacking
video for
something
that
up.
when you're doing that.
That was me hacking something up, not giving damn good head. You'll find that on our OnlyFans. So, Tim, following our usual running order, let's go ahead and start with a pub quiz
Pub
question.
quiz question. In 2024, what major sporting event is taking place in Paris, France?
2024 Paris, France. The Paris Marathon.
Okay, that's not it, but we'll go to it at the end of
I bet there is a Paris Marathon that's taking place in 2024.
There probably is, but that's not the answer I have. So
Maybe there's more than one major. It sounds like a flawed question.
it could
Tim.
well be, but okay, what is ChatGPT specifically brought up?
Okay, more specific. Is it the Super Bowl?
It is not the Super Bowl, but we'll come to it at the end of the episode. Joey, let's talk days of the week.
Let's talk days of the week. So, Tim, we are at a point in the year where, actually, before we talk days of the week, Tim,
Yeah,
there's something I haven't done in 2 weeks.
what's that?
Something about the day of the week that it is releasing.
It is Wednesday, my dudes. 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 Watch him Wednesday. Watch him dude. 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 He'd be Wednesday down the street. He'd be Wednesday to the beat. He'd be Wednesday down the street. He'd be Wednesday to the beat. My dudes. It is Wednesday. My dudes. It is Wednesday.
Tim, Wednesday, December 20th, this is releasing. It is 5 days before
Merry
Christmas.
Criminy.
Happy Chrysler.
Merry Christmas.
As you can imagine, some of the dates are slightly Christmassy.
Yep.
How'd you feel about that?
I feel jolly inside about it. I like Christmas. It's not my favorite holiday, but I like it.
What is your favorite
I'm
holiday?
a big Halloween guy.
Oh,
What about
okay.
you?
I like National Sangria Day.
Is that one of the days?
That is one of the
Amazing.
days.
That's a good day to like.
So we've got National Sangria Day. We've got Go Caroling Day.
Absolutely not.
And an International Human Solidarity Day.
What, like banding together with other people?
Oh yeah. And there's another one called Mud Day. But it's about a doctor called Samuel Mudd, so we're not including him.
Oh, I thought it'd be like just about mud.
It's got 2 Ds.
I like puddle of mud.
Yeah.
Let's
And
go with Sangria Day.
He fucking hates you, Tim.
He fucking hates me.
Fucking hates you. Basically, actually, do you know what? Let's include Mud Day. It's quite interesting. So, Dr. Samuel Mudd is the December 20th was his birthday, and he was the man who John Wilkes Booth, the man who assassinated President Lincoln, rode to directly after killing Lincoln, and Mudd performed surgery on Booth's fractured leg and allowed him to stay the night. So he's basically a big bad.
A big bad. Well, let's go with Sangria Day, because I feel like it can work very much in harmony with Human Solidarity Day.
So we're doing both.
Yeah.
It could work in harmony, but it could also work against it, depending on what kind of a drunk you are.
That's true. What kind of drunk would you say you are? I'm quite giggly and like supportive.
Depends on what I drink. I don't really drink anymore, Tim.
I don't get drunk often, but I say as I'm having a beer now.
I have had, the last time I had a beer was 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I had less than a quarter of the bottle before I didn't want any more.
Oh.
And then before that, it was probably April.
Oh wow.
I just don't feel the need to drink. I don't really care about it.
That's fair enough.
So what kind of a drunk am I? It depends on what I'm drinking. Beer, I'm quite a shout, like not a shouty in your face drunk. I just, everything gets amplified quite a lot.
Sure.
But if I drink gin, whoa boy, I'm a teary drunk.
Oh no.
I'm a crier. We had a night when I lived in Leeds with Jenny where we were drinking gin, and I threw the whole bottle over the street, across the street, and it broke on the wall on the opposite side because a car went past us too quick. I wasn't trying to throw it at the car. I was just upset by how fast he was driving.
You were emotional over the speed.
I was. I have had other nights where we didn't. We've spoken about the Otley run on this podcast before.
Oh yeah.
Where we finished an Otley run, and my friend Kelly and I walked home, and we sat on a hill near where we lived and just cried about the second year of uni.
That's quite emotional.
It was quite emotional. Basically, I don't drink gin.
Sure.
Yeah, don't do it.
I don't drink gin because I don't like gin.
Well, I mean, that's fair enough.
Yeah. Your mention then of Mud Day unlocked a memory for me.
Core memory unlocked.
A core memory of when I was in Pennsylvania and I went to the Vans Warp Tour, where the Used were headlining, if anyone wants to track down the specific year. But they had a little show there called the Mud Brothers.
Okay.
And I'm going to send you a link to their website because I think they're still going, but it is a fucking wonder. So all it was basically just these guys fucking around with mud. Was their entire that was their whole act.
The first picture on the website that you just sent me is a woman who sat there on stage with 2 men licking her feet covered in mud.
And it says at the bottom, all we want to do is make you oh so very happy. Followed by the message, farewell, Mud Brother. Figgy pudding, R.I.P.
He died in 2006. Rest in
peace. He did. But
this
can we talk about
definitely a website made in paint, isn't it?
It absolutely is. But if you go to Meet the Beggars, if you can navigate to that at the top left, the beggars being the act, we've got the names of the characters in the show, and I'd like you to read them out if you can.
Anonymous Bosch.
Mm-hmm.
Billy Von Billy, my
Mhm.
favourite so far. Fits you nicely. Very
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Biggie Pudding,
But he's
rest in
dead.
peace. Bob the Beggar,
Yep.
Halfwit Henry.
Mm-hmm.
This is your name, Legs Kimbo.
Like Kimbo, that's me.
Spunky Jitters. Lutterlaugh. God, I can't even read that.
Fed income.
Okay.
Yep.
Privy Le Pew,
Yep.
Rottweiler,
Yep.
and Dr. Schmutzing Funbar.
Yeah. So if you go onto any of these, it'll give you a little bio about the page, but it's all shifted off to the far right of the website. It's
Well, I obviously chose Billy Von Billy.
Oh, I went to Fits You Nicely.
I mean, you can email them all.
We need to get these guys to the nearest like cheese wheeling event.
I don't think we do.
No?
I think these guys need to be left alone.
You reckon with their foot sucking?
Yeah,
website?
Billy Von Billy is not someone who would be welcome at my house for Christmas dinner.
What about Fits You Nicely?
No, absolutely not. Can you imagine? Hi, Mum. Let me just introduce you to Fits You Nicely. No bueno.
But
is
it
what
just
I'm
reminded
saying.
me of that.
Tim, I have a
Hello.
early Christmas present for you.
What is it?
I don't have a hypothetical.
What?
I know.
What?
How'd you feel about that?
A little relieved, if I'm honest. I've had a very long day at work.
Have you?
Yeah.
Instead, I'm going to tell you about the reason I was late for this recording.
You were watching a movie.
I was watching a movie. Have you ever seen Nobody with Bob Odenkirk?
No, but I like Bob Odenkirk.
Holy shit, it's good.
What's it about?
It's about nobody.
All right, point made.
It says it in the title. You might have seen there was quite a popular scene of it that went around social media where Bob Odenkirk is beating up these guys on a bus. So
Yes. Yeah.
yeah. So he I'm not going to tell you everything because it will spoil it, but he basically is not the man that he is perceived to be throughout a lot of the film.
Interesting.
He ends up fighting the Russian mafia almost single-handedly. Like, think John Wick. It's kind of that style and levels of badassery.
From Bob Odenkirk.
As Bob Odenkirk as the main character, but also from he was one of the producers. So I think the best way to describe it is I don't think they had a story writer. I think they had a stunt coordinator write the film. It's that
It's a bit
kind
like
of thing.
Hardcore Henry in that way.
I've never seen Hardcore Henry. Is it the one that's all in POV?
Yeah, that's a really interesting movie.
I watched the trailers and it made me feel sick.
So I thought it would make me feel sick, but then I sat down and watched it. I was like, this was actually like, I wouldn't put it in like my top 10 films of the year or anything, but it was at least really interesting. I've never seen a film entirely in POV, let alone an action movie.
Yeah, well, it's like Peep Show. Some people really get on board with it, some people don't. And Peep Show's fine because they're not running around and jumping over cars and things like that. But I feel like the pace of Hardcore Henry, I keep meaning to call it Horrible Henry, but that's a children's book. The pace of it would make me feel a little bit sick.
I'd be curious about like the production of that, like the logistics of the rigs and everything.
Yeah. I really want to talk to you about Nobody, but I don't want to ruin any of it because. So, how many of the John Wick films have you seen?
One.
The first one.
The first one.
And what was your perception of it when you first saw it?
I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was a relatively neat idea to almost pseudo revive a Matrix-esque movie.
So my impression of John Wick was I was working a pub.
By the way, are you playing with some Velcro or something?
Oh yeah, sorry.
Oh, it's all good.
I was working at a pub and one of the regulars there, let's say, knew someone in the movie business, and by knew someone in the movie business, knew someone who ripped illegal DVDs. And he lent me, do you remember Fury with
I do remember Fury.
With Brad Pitt about the tank?
Yeah.
He lent me that and he said, you might like this. I went, okay. I'm probably not going to watch it. Don't really care that much for pirate movies. But then I had a day off and I thought, okay, I'll watch it. And he said, "Oh, there's something else on there you might want to check out." So I put this into the DVD player, and the thing was split in half, and it said John Wick and Fury. I was like, "Oh, Keanu Reeves in this. I'm going to give it a go." So I knew nothing about John Wick, and I feel like John Wick was so good because you had zero expectation.
Yeah.
Now I've heard other John Wick films. The only place I've heard contrary to this, I'll talk about in a second, but other John Wick films don't live up to the first one because there was an expectation of them.
I've heard they're still very good.
So I've heard that on Talking Smack did a review of the latest one, not too long ago, not too recently. They said it was really good. But I feel like from what I heard, I've only seen the first one. From what I've heard, it's very complicated now. And John Wick was really good because it was good, dumb,
straightforward.
Are you going to watch Nobody?
I'll give it a go. I'll put it on the list.
Okay. Well, I might ruin it for you, but off camera, off recording, because.
Well, how about this? We set a piece of homework for me to watch it before the next recording session.
Okay. Cool.
Great.
Cool. Let's do that, and then I won't ruin it for you. And then we'll talk about it, and we'll ruin it for everyone else.
In return, I would like to set you a film to watch.
Okay.
I would like you to sit down and watch The Killing of a Sacred Deer.
The Killing of a Sacred Deer.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's Colin. Which one's the British one, and which one's the Irish one? Colin Farrell's the Irish one.
Yeah, Colin Firth is the King's Speech.
Yes. Okay, so it's Colin Farrell. And
is this the one that's directed by the same guy that did In Bruges?
No, not the same dude.
Okay.
So Colin Farrell plays a surgeon who's kind of got a bit of an ego about him, and he's got this wife and this son and this daughter, and it's about this surgeon almost having to come to grips with the fact that he botched someone's surgery, but that's not what the main focus of the film is. The whole, I don't want to spoil in particular what happens here, but the whole thing is, through reason X, Y, and Z, he has to kill a member of his family.
Okay.
Right. And the film isn't focusing on the killing or what happens after. The focus of the film is on the decision-making process about who to kill. And it's really bloody interesting.
Sophie's Choice kind of thing.
Kind of, yeah. So he's trying everything. Like he's going to talk to neighbors. He ends up at one point going to the kids' school to talk to the principal about like who's doing well in class to see who's got the most prospects and stuff. It's really dark, but really interesting.
Sounds good. I'll put that on the list for
there we go.
Next recording.
Game Club Pod Film Club Edition.
Well, that just rolled off the tongue, didn't it?
Yeah, put that on a shirt, everyone.
Tim.
Yeah.
I've crossed off hypotheticals on our list. We can either do jokes, Keanu Reeves, or we can talk about one of the many things that are in our running order.
Well, why don't we do Keanu Reeves real quick, because he came up in the John Wick thing.
Nice, I like it.
Hi, I'm Keanu Reeves.
Hello.
Hi, I'm Keanu Reeves. Canada's greatest stuntman. Riding a motorcycle is like being a puppy, isn't it?
Impressive cock.
Impressive.
I always forget about that bit.
Do you know the hello at the start, the first time it breaks down? I left it in there by accident.
Oh, well, that works.
And I really like it, so we're going to keep it.
Yeah.
Tim, who's Keanu Reeves beating up?
Wait, so I thought it was whose breath is he taking away?
Oh, yeah, whose breath is he taking away?
Well, yours in John Wick 1.
That's true.
Yeah. I watched it on a plane and I still had a good time with it.
Really?
Yeah.
I remember we got a plane once, and we were young, probably 9 or 10. And it was a plane that was transatlantic, so we were flying from London to San Francisco, maybe. And everyone's console with all the films on was working just fine, apart from yours. And do you remember what film was playing on repeat?
No.
It was eight-legged freaks just on repeat. And
that explains so much.
Dad saw you watching it and was like, what the hell is going on? So he told you to stop it, and you said you couldn't. And the flight attendants apologized, and eventually Dad swapped with you. And when I spoke to him about this flight, he watched Eight-Legged Freaks 3 times back to back while you went off and fannied about and watched something that you actually wanted to watch.
So I occasionally think about this flight that we were on many, many moons ago, again, going to the States. I can tell you who was with the flight. It was Virgin Atlantic.
Yeah, the first time we ever went would have been Virgin Atlantic.
I feel like we did Virgin Atlantic a couple of times.
Maybe. But go on.
But I can distinctly remember there being the remote that you pulled out from the arm of the TV, arm from the sofa.
Yeah.
And it had your regular remote buttons, but you flipped it over.
And it had a gamepad on the back.
And it had a gamepad on the back. And I remember that flight being the first time I played A Link to the Past.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. That is
Neat.
pretty cool.
So who do you think? Well,
before we do that, we've got one more flight story. Do you remember when we went from Birmingham to Paris to Los Angeles?
I think we've talked about this on the podcast where we got bumped.
We got bumped. And I sat next to someone who worked on the King's Speech.
Ah.
Yeah. That was pretty cool.
Mum sat next to a sleeping pilot.
Oh.
Yeah.
Who was flying the plane?
Who knows?
Who knows?
Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves took all our breath away. I think
he deployed the oxygen masks.
Yeah. I think, well, when I thought it was who is Keanu Reeves fighting, I was going to say Bob Odenkirk from Nobody. But I can't do that now. So my answer is Bob Odenkirk from Better Call Saul. He's hiring a lawyer, winning. So he's just taking his breath away.
I need to sit down and watch Better Call Saul properly.
Have you not seen it?
I've seen the first season. I really liked it. I was like, this was great. And then I just didn't watch anything else.
The thing is, Better Call Saul was really good. The pacing, if you think Breaking Bad's pacing is slow, Better Call Saul was like watching it in reverse.
It was like watching molasses.
But when you got into it, because the pacing was so slow, it just meant you were so invested in all of the characters. I've watched all of them except for the final season. And I'm just like, I need to watch the whole thing again to get into it to the final season. And I don't know if I can bring myself to do it.
So do you remember the Schwartz family in the first episode where they embezzle the money and they go off hiding in a tent in the back of the house?
Yes, sir.
The little kid from that went from Better Call Saul to the first ever film project that I worked on in Texas.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The softcore porn?
Not the softcore porn. That was before Texas. But the mom was there on the set with us and was just like, yeah, he's done something for Netflix and HBO. We can't say what. And everyone on the crew was like, it's Better Call Saul. We know it's Better Call Saul. Just like, I know you can't say it, but we know.
Why? So I have a friend who's done a few things for Netflix. She's it's a lot of extra work, but she's had a few speaking roles in them. And her NDA is like, you can't tell anyone it's coming up. Blah, 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 blah. The way I found out that she's been in these shows is she was sat on a tube in London on the phone to me going, yep, so I've done this and I did this and this is coming out. And I was like, are you not under some kind of
NDA?
Are you not under some kind of NDA? And she was like, oh, no one cares. Everyone talks about it. Like,
I had some NDAs. I had some NDAs expire a couple of years ago, which was very, very cool because I got to talk about some projects that I worked on shortly after moving back to England.
What did you do?
So I actually did some stuff for the British military as a part of like conference, like video presentation stuff. So
all
I worked with this company.
Are now on the internet.
Well, that's it. Yeah. I did some stuff for like it was a very, very long time ago where they were doing like some drone shit, and I was asked to do some sound design for it. It was very cool.
What was the sound design for a drone?
It was me going.
Nice. I'm glad.
I didn't appreciate me burping into the mic, though.
I'm glad our head was in the same place. Tim, a couple of things before we go anywhere. Have you got your ticket?
Oh, boy, do I! But before we do that, I'm going to quickly use the loo before we get on the train.
Tickets, please.
Oh. You're going to have to go and use the loo on the train.
I am. I'm going to have to use it on the train.
Tim. You missed the ticket collector.
Oh, that's good. I didn't have a ticket this time, but I might buy one on the app.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Called the wankline.com.
Wankline.
Fine.
Northern Fail.
Northern. Yeah.
Have you seen the Northern Fail Twitter account?
I haven't.
It's because Northern Rail fuck up their trains so much, someone's dedicated a Twitter account to all the cancellations and delays of Northern Rail.
Doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Awful. Okay, Tim.
Yeah.
Let's do a story off of the thing. So we got Tim's Bizarre Adventure.
Oh, okay. On the topic of the trains. So I was at work. I know. I was at work the other night. Because full disclosure, we write everything down in Notion. Kind of as we go. This is going back maybe a couple of weeks, and we had some really, really bad weather down here. So I leave work 4 o'clock. No problem.
Mm-hmm.
Now I work in Bristol, pretty much by Templemead train station in a given direction.
Yeah.
And I live in Weston-super-Mare, and so it takes maybe half an hour, 45 minutes on the train normally for me to get back.
Okay.
So I get out of work, go to the train station, and I'm seeing across the board cancel. And I'm thinking, what the fuck is this? And I'm seeing the occasional train get through, and one of mine was set to get through, but they went to cancelled. Mm-hmm. And it turns out there was like a big old flood just somewhere along the line. So trains going in and out of Templemead were basically just stuck.
Should have just gone really quick like you do in a car and splash the puddle.
Splash half of Bristol.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll just go and get the airport bus, because the airport bus goes to Templemead and to Bristol Airport and to Weston up the road from me.
Okay.
Fine. So I go to the airport bus, and they're like, no, we're not going to Weston tonight. Like, all right, cool, great. So it was like, your best bet's probably to go and get a bus down at the harbour, which is about a 20, 25-minute walk away.
Go down the harbour.
So I went down the harbour. And I got there, and I'm like waiting for a bus to come along, and one of the buses that I would like get comes along, but it just says, sorry, bus full, and just carries on. Like, fuck, okay.
Did it look full?
It did look very full.
Okay.
But here's the thing. A second one came along that said, sorry, full. Cat went along. A third one came along, sorry, full.
Right.
All of them
How long
full.
have you been there at this point?
45 minutes.
Oh, okay.
And I'm looking on Google Maps to be like, what's the best way for me to get to back home?
Walk.
Tonight? Not walk, but it did suggest the megabus,
Okay.
which is grim. And so eventually I was like, well, I've been like, the bus between where I live and where I was getting on and off the bus takes about 2 hours, and that's without shit traffic.
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously it's got to make a bunch of stops along the way. So I was like, I'm just gonna try and get an Uber. And so I'm waiting for another about 45 minutes or so for an Uber, right? Because no Uber is gonna want to go from Bristol to Weston. Like it's a really long distance, and there's a lot of downtime, and that means money to them. Mm-hmm. But eventually, I got one guy who was like, "Yeah, I'll go to Weston, no problem." It cost me 45 quid.
Oh my god,
it was brutal. But we're getting to this road that goes, and if anyone knows kind of Bristol in the southwest, if you go out the back of We the Curious, onto the A road and heading towards Hewish, and if you know Bristol and kind of that area, you'll know exactly where I am. And it is like bumper to bumper traffic.
Okay, I have no idea where you are.
No problem. Well,
okay.
That's not the important detail, but it's to set the scene for those that do.
Okay.
And they were like, the driver was eventually like, oh, there's a turning here. Let's do this. We spent about 40 minutes going down like these dark, flooded country lanes. And it was like some of the water was getting so high that as he was driving through the water slowly to pass by other cars, water was coming through the bottom of the door and into the footwell.
Did you say anything?
Yeah. I was like, there's water coming in. And he was like, oh, really? And he just like sped up a bit.
What a lad.
And after about maybe another hour or so,
Hmm.
I was back in Weston, but I didn't get back home until maybe 7 or 8. No, it must have been 8 o'clock at that point.
Was it worth the £45?
I mean, I got home.
But you had like a wild ride as well.
I had there was also a detail going back to Temple Mead, and this is the thing that made me write this down because it was particularly funny. I say funny. There was a woman there who was just pacing up and down with her granny trolley, and she's going to people being like, "The lift to platform 3 is broken." I was like, "Okay," and I'm thinking, "Does she want a hand?" And like she looked at me and went, "The lift to platform 3 is broken." And I was like, "Okay," and then she just kind of wandered off. But then I see her go like down the hallway at Templemead. Like there's an underground passage bit in Templemead.
The one that you ran into the wall at.
One that I ran into the wall at, thinking I could get to platform 9 3/4.
Mhm.
But this woman like suddenly just starts screaming, like full on screaming at the top of her lungs, and everyone's looking at her. And she's just pointing at this dude and went, "You threw something at me. You threw something at me." And this other guy was like, "He didn't throw anything. Fuck off." And then I was like,
Wow.
"I'm gonna get the bus. I can't be bothered with this."
That sounds really fun.
It was great.
Nice. Well, that sounds
Good.
fun. Did anything good happen on that day?
There was a GTA 6 trailer, and it looks interesting.
Oh, it's not a gameplay trailer, is it? So
This is what I can't work out. I think I saw a developer say that this is what the game is going to look like, but I'm having a really hard time believing it. Although it is set to come out in 2025, so maybe.
Yeah. Don't know. I just think it was interesting that in like a minute long trailer they dropped so many references to so many actual things. And they're basically all like Florida Man stories.
Well, I think Slade was telling us this because in Florida they have to report, is it all crimes to at least
Yeah.
local media?
Yeah.
That's why you see a lot of Florida Man stories, and that's obviously where they've got their reference.
That's why they're all batshit as well.
Yeah. On the topic of driving things, like in video games, what's this about Naughty Driver School?
Oh, Tim, I told you that I got caught speeding, didn't I?
You did. I thought you did the video.
The video?
Yeah, or like the Zoom call or whatever it was.
Yeah. So that was what Naughty Driver School was.
Oh.
I did. So when you get caught speeding, particularly when your car is in your wife's name, your wife gets an angry letter through the post saying, "You were driving at this time and you sped. If this was not you, please tell the person who it was and dob them into us." And Jenny wasn't driving at the time I was. I got caught doing 35 in a 30, which was stupid. It was my fault. I completely take ownership that I was driving too quick, and I got caught doing it, and I shouldn't have done it. So I paid a fine.
Sure.
I went to a Zoom call. When you pay the fine, they say you won't get points on your license, so your insurance won't cost more. Great. You do have to do Naughty Driver School. You can either go and sit in a conference room in the middle of the city centre for 4 hours, or you can stay at home and do a Zoom call that will take 2.5 hours.
Zoom
it was
call,
a really
any day.
difficult choice for me. So I got in a Zoom call with a very, very Welsh man who was very upset that Wales have lowered their speed limit to 20 miles an hour everywhere. He was like, "I'm very, very surprised that there is more Welsh people on here with that bloody speed limit change."
He's very passionate.
He was very passionate. The thing that I wanted to talk about, so there was a couple of moments in this. Most of it was very informative. Most of it was me being an idiot and getting caught speeding. He kept saying, "You're all very good drivers." And I was like, there's one thing that suggests maybe we're not all very good drivers.
What does everyone here have in common?
And so the few things, I might got my notes to hand from it. There was a few people. Hold on 1 second.
Go into the shelf.
I've got my notes to hand.
Did they give you a quiz or something at the end?
Well, they do make you do a quiz at the end, and at the start. So, Tim.
Yeah.
On a road with streetlights in an urban area, unless stated otherwise, what is the speed limit?
30?
Correct. On a single track country lane with no streetlights, what is? the speed limit.
It's something like 60, isn't it?
It is 60. So Amanda thought it was 25 miles an hour.
Amanda, get it together. On the country road.
On the country road. How she got caught speeding, I don't know.
You can be pulled over for being too slow.
Yeah, you can. But Amanda was one of these people who had to talk after every single gap. One of my notes, I don't know if you can see that properly. Shut the fuck up, Amanda. There is someone on the course in bed.
Okay.
Just in their bed with their head on the pillow.
It's comfy course.
Okay.
Your handwriting is very nice, by the way.
No, my handwriting is not very nice.
My handwriting is chicken scratch. Yours is lovely.
Mine is lovely compared to yours. Yours is dreadful. Mine is bad.
I can do my signature, and that's all I need to do.
So the other thing I wrote down here is, at one point the instructor said, "I don't want to be here. You don't want to be here. So let's not speed anymore, and we won't have to be here again." He also told us at one point that speeding is fine.
Okay, well, hang on. What's the context of that bit?
He said, what if there's an emergency? What if, for example, your loved one was in the garden and they cut their finger off? You think, "Oh, I'm close to the hospital, I can drive. How quick can you go then?" And then he went, hands up for the listeners. He put his hands up to the camera and he went, "Now, this is not teacher Mike talking. This is personal Mike. You drive as quick as you can, as long as you're being safe." And the course has resumed. And I was like, what the fuck are we here for?
There's very contrarian lessons happening.
Yeah, but I did win him over, Tim. The only time he called anyone my friend, this guy. He asked me a question for the quiz at the end, and he went, "Joey, my friend, what is the answer?" And I was like, "Mike, my friend, it is." And I gave him the answer, and then he said, "You have passed naughty driver school."
Mike's a little champion.
Mike's a sexy bitch.
We love you, Mike. Fuck you, Amanda.
Fuck you, Amanda. And the woman who was asleep.
Was that the woman who was in bed?
Well, she wasn't asleep. She was just in bed.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
As a parent of a young child, I have hatred towards anyone who can sleep.
Sorry. I did see a police chase the other day.
Did you? Is it crazy shit?
No, it's actually the most boring police chase. Save the crazy shit alarm.
Tim, I've got an idea for a hypothetical.
What is it?
If you were in a police chase and you were the driver, how would you get away?
We're
not going to act it out. I just want to hear it. What would your tactic be for a police chase?
Well, hang on. What am I driving?
A car.
What colour?
Black.
Black?
No, silver.
Silver. Okay.
Makes a difference.
Does make a big difference. That's
It's night time. You've robbed a bank.
Well, if GTA has taught me anything, I can go and find the local paint shop and just be done in 5 minutes.
Okay, well, you're going to prison.
I don't know. So on top of the crime that I've already committed of robbing a bank, we're focusing on the car chase.
Yeah, no, I mean the crime. The crime is by the by. Really, I'm only interested in the car chase.
I would. Do you know what I'd do?
I'd be a
criminal. I would go to those like airport hire car things.
Mm-hmm.
I would go and find one of the big lots of them, and just like drive around it for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And depending on if I think I've lost them or not, I'd park up somewhere.
Nice.
What about you?
Do you know what I think a lot of people's mistake is? They put their foot down and they speed.
No, if you go in with confidence.
Well, no, I was more thinking stamina. So your car will run out of petrol really quickly. You're just going everywhere at full speed. Go at 10 miles an hour.
Yeah.
They get bored and leave you alone.
They'll walk alongside.
They will, but they'll be like, "Joey, come on," and I'll be like, "No," and they'll be like, "Come on," and I'll be like, "No," and then they
You're gonna yell at me.
Okay, then, and then they'll go home, and I'll go and sit on my millions of pounds that I've robbed.
It was only a little police chase, but it did make me miss the train.
You and your bloody trains.
Me and trains this week. I was just on the way back from the shops, and there is a traffic island out by where I go to my local supermarket, and I say local. I have to get the train to my supermarket because fuck, the one that's near me is really expensive. Tesco, it's really expensive. So I go a couple of stops on the train down to.
Are you going to name your supermarket?
Absolutely. I kind of do a split between Lidl and Aldi.
The Lidaldi split.
The Lidaldi. Depending on what I could be bothered to get.
Or Adel.
So I was leaving the Aldi, and I'm just crossed over this island, and I saw a police car. Like, heard a police car's sirens go off. I'm like, oh, wonder where that's going from. Do I need to be aware? And I saw a car kind of do like pull out from one car and like ahead of it. That makes sense. Like, kind of doing a really quick overtake. I was like, he's done a really shit job of getting out of the way of the police. And then he sped up, and the police, like, there were 2 police cars going after him. I was like, oh, I don't think he was trying to pull over. And he went round this roundabout 2, maybe 3 times before speeding off towards Hewish.
What a story.
What a story.
How do you come up with them, Tim?
I live in the moment. But it made me miss my train.
Don't you?
It's a little bit like GTA, Grand Theft Somerset. We've got the Somerset Gimp. And
like that.
Do you not know about the Somerset Gimp?
I don't think we've got time to talk about someone called the Somerset Gimp.
Oh,
you want to get everything
so
else
do.
done. Remember, I've got to edit this, Tim. I'm not.
So, the Somerset Gimp was a guy who would just go around in a gimp suit and basically jump out at people and scare them.
I have heard about the Somerset Gimp.
Yeah.
He got collared recently, didn't he?
He did. There's an article here that says Somerset Gimp banned from wearing a gimp suit in public and crawling and wriggling or writhing on the ground for 5 years.
Well, folks, if you wanted to know the real reason that we didn't release the 2 blokes last week,
Joey was in court. Sorry.
Tim, I'm going to play the crazy shit jingle, and then I want you to read me the story that you sent below. Okay?
Sorry, which one is this?
Below Naughty Driver School.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to play the jingle, and it's not news, but it did make me howl.
Oh, damn, that's crazy.
This is a story from r/teenagers.
Mm-hmm. Set the scene.
It's just called "My Hamster Exploded," and it's got the little tag underneath it that says "Trigger Warning."
Okay.
And this is all the post says. I've not got any of the comments, but I just like the post. I've been crying in my room for 2 hours now. I was making some salad dressing in the kitchen with my pet hamster Manny. I let him roam around. My sister and her friends were also in there doing something. I spilled a bottle of vinegar, so I left to get a towel, and when I came back, Manny was drinking it. I didn't think anything of it, and so I let him help me clean it up. All of a sudden, Manny starts acting really weird. He's normally very full of energy, but he was just sitting still. Everyone gathered around him trying to figure out what was wrong when suddenly we heard a fizzing noise coming from inside of Manny. He then started expanding, let out a final squeak, and bursted. Bubbles and blood went everywhere. My sister and her friends started screaming. I ran and got my dad, and he cleaned it up. We looked in the pantry, and apparently Manny somehow got into the baking soda and ate a bunch of it. I think I'm traumatized now. What a story.
Oh, God, that was so funny.
It was fucking great. There's no way it's real. No way would that happen.
Get a hamster and feed it baking soda and vinegar and find
Little
out.
Manny.
Poor old Manny. Poor little Manny.
I mean, do you think it's real? I don't think it is.
I have faith in life. I believe it's real.
If that's what gives you faith in life, the stupidity of hamsters.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
That is the one. Tim, we have got a couple of sections to go.
Yeah.
Including jokes. But I wonder, do you want me to tell the story of the headline that I wrote next?
Yeah.
I haven't told you this, have I?
No, you've given me the very short synopsis.
Okay, which is?
Joey's just written the words, I pissed on a man.
Yeah, okay. So I pissed
on go on.
So, last week, I was at the football. Things were going very well at the football. The team were winning 2 big games. this isn't anything to do with the story. I just want to bask in the glory of Villa actually being decent. So we just won, and I had some. Well, I was staying hydrated.
Yeah.
As I said, I don't really drink. I'd had 3 bottles of water at the game because I was thirsty.
Sure.
And
Thirsty boy.
my thought. Let's not say I'm a thirsty boy at the football. My sore throat meant that I needed to drink a lot. Fair. I hope that's fair enough.
Yeah.
Whenever I leave the football, Chris and I have 40-minute walk back to the car to avoid the traffic.
Makes sense.
3 bottles of water and a 40-minute walk. What does a guy need to do, Tim?
Needs to go for a whittle.
He needs to go for a whittle. Now, I think this was about the same time as your flooding, because, whoa, Nelly, was it windy. I went behind a wall. Now, I'm not the only person that goes behind this wall for obvious reasons. It's secluded. It's on the main road. A lot of people go past. A lot of people go there when they need a wee after the football.
It's a piss wall.
I went behind it and started to wee. A man came round the corner and went, "Ooh, I'm not the only one who uses this then." And then proceeded to stand downwind of me while I was peeing. Completely oblivious to the fact that my pee was flying sideways at him. Being the gentleman that I am, I tried to turn slightly so that it wasn't quite so much like I was pissing on a man.
Sure.
It didn't work. And what I proceeded to do was piss on a man and piss into the wind. So,
are you the man?
I'm not the man. Well, I mean, I probably slightly was the man because I was pissing into the wind. Mine was minimal. I think I peed on him quite a lot. So that's how I spent, not Wednesday, just gone the Wednesday before, pissing on a man in Aston.
Did you get his number?
Yeah, I did. We're going on a date tomorrow.
That's exciting. Do you want to do
and then-
jokes? Do you want to do travel age? Oh, sorry.
Oh,
Karen.
no, let's do jokes.
That's pretty funny, to be fair. That joke was weak. I misread that as that's the joke of the week.
Tim, simple game. Don't laugh. The one who laughs loses. You can't laugh at your own joke. You can, but it won't count.
Sure.
But if my joke makes you laugh, my joke is joke of the week, and the section's over, vice versa. Same happens. Very simple. We do this every week. If you don't know by now, get with it. So
join in. Let us know where you laughed, if you did.
Yes, please. Last time, we didn't laugh.
Some people did in Discord.
Yeah, but we didn't.
We didn't.
Tim, I've got 8 jokes.
I've got 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Maybe you start.
Maybe I should go first. First one. What do you call a fish in a tux?
I don't know. What do you call a fish in a tux?
Sophisticated.
Oh, I like it. Very good. Tim, what do cows tell each other at bedtime?
Go on.
Dairy tales.
Pretty good.
It's not good. It's like a cracker joke.
I like it.
Okay.
What do you call a tiny mother?
Tiny mother.
Yeah.
I don't know.
A minimum.
Oh, I've heard that recently. Didn't think it was funny then either.
Oh.
I got in a fight with 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. The odds are against me.
Smart. Bit of wordplay. What's the leading cause of dry skin?
Lack of water.
Nah, towels.
Very good and true. Why was E the only letter of the alphabet not to get a Christmas present?
Go on.
Because the rest of the letters were not E.
Oh, I see. That one took me a minute.
Yeah. I think I might have read it wrong. Did I say not get a Christmas present?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the only one to get a Christmas present. All the other letters were naughty.
All right. Yeah. What do you call having sex with your dad in an elevator?
I can't laugh at the setup. What do you call having sex with your dad in an elevator?
Being wrong on so many levels.
Oh, it's not a good joke, Tim. The setup was brilliant, but the joke was rubbish. Astronomers got tired of watching the moon go around the Earth 24 hours, so they decided to call it a day.
Very clever. Very, very close. Do you know what a reverse exorcism is?
An incisism.
No, it's when the devil tells the priest to get out of a child.
Should happen more often.
Should.
Bloody Catholics. That's not the joke of the week.
No.
My wife, I just found out that my wife is getting me a universal remote for Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, well, this changes everything.
Pretty good.
That was a laugh. Okay.
That's pretty funny, to be fair. That joke was weak. I misread that as that's the joke of the week. Congrats to you, Joey.
My last one, my next one was quite good. So the joke of the week is I just found out that my wife is getting me a universal remote for Christmas. And I thought, well, this changes everything.
So I want to hear what that joke is, but I've also got one for you that I wanted to get to next.
Okay, I'm only going to do the one. So it's,
yeah.
My daughter asked me, Dad, what do bees eat? And I said, honey, how should I know?
Well done. I definitely preferred the universal remote one.
Oh, really?
The one I've got here is I was invited to a charity dinner for those who suffer from premature ejaculation, and I didn't know what to wear. So I gave them a call, and they just said, just come in your pants.
Very good. Very, very good.
Yeah. Should we quickly do the travel agent?
Yes, let's do it. Can you speedrun it?
I can certainly try. For those who do not know, we have got a section here where I give Joey the name of 3 places, and Joey's going to pick one based purely on name alone. That's going to be his holiday for the weekend. And then we're going to do here's what you could have won scenario.
Okay.
So we've got Rupert, Idaho. We've got Las Vegas, Nevada.
Okay.
And we've got College Station, Texas.
I'm going to Las Vegas.
You're going to Las Vegas?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, here, let me get Discord up for our links. So, for each location, by the way, Joey gets a place to stay, some food to do, some food to do? Food to have.
Food to do.
Food to do, and Joey also gets a something to do. So, for your hotel, you have got this, and I'll be honest, I've forgotten what it is because...
I mean, the URL says worst hotel in Vegas.
Yes.
But it's a list of 10. Which one do you want me to go to?
It was the Travel Lodge by Wyndham, which is the first one. I don't remember why I picked this one. It's been a couple of weeks. I guess it's just because it's... yeah, there you go. It's just a shit hotel. But here is what you're doing for your food. Can you look up the Heart Attack Grill for me?
Oh, I've heard of this before.
So I'm going to give a little bit of a description that I got from a website of interesting places to eat in Las Vegas. It's got kind of as a subheading, $12.73 for a quadruple bypass burger.
Wow, that is a big old burger.
So the description
looks like a kebab stick.
It does kind of. But this description I've got here is this hospital-themed burger joint may be gimmicky, but it's also as serious as a heart attack. As many US eateries seem to fast-track over it to the ICU, the Heart Attack Grill has openly embraced it and offering aggressively unhealthy food while posturing as a send-up to fast food and obesity. The menu is simple. Bypass burgers are made of 1 to 4 patties containing either half a pound to 2 pounds of meat each. Shakes are made with butter fat and all-you-can-eat flatliner fries that are cooked in lard. Rounding out the menu is a full sugar Mexican Coke, Pabst Blue Ribbon, and Lucky Strike cigarettes, or candy cigarettes if the kids are going.
Do you know the cigarettes? They take the filters off of them.
Do they really?
Yeah, they do.
Fucking hell!
This is where I knew I'd seen this. I've seen this place on TikTok. Because there's a news article about someone who collapsed whilst there.
That doesn't surprise me. I mean, The summary that I've got here ends with a waitress in nurse gear wheels those who finished the 8,000 calorie quadruple bypass burger out to their car in a wheelchair. Diners who weigh over 350 pounds eat for free, and the eatery spokesman, who was named Blair River, who weighed 575 pounds, died in March 2011, aged 29. Fucking hell.
Well, I'm looking forward to it.
And then something to do, you can go and watch people get married at Denny's.
I like it. Tim, I've chosen right here.
You've picked a good one, but I did in particular want to take you or show you Rupert, Idaho.
Choose one. If it's Rupert, Idaho, that sounds great.
Yeah. Rupert, Idaho is amazing.
Can I just say, by the way, before we move on to that, I think there's something quite cool about a Las Vegas wedding.
I think it's the fact that it's very, I don't know, fast. Is that the word for it?
No, it's just like, I don't know, when you think of Vegas, you think of weddings, so it's
I'm just sending you for Rupert, Idaho. I've only got one link. So for Rupert, Idaho, I'm just sending you. I've only got one link to send you.
Okay.
But I've got some screenshots that
Okay.
I can send you. So I'm going to take you to the Flamingo Lodge Motel, and I went to this purely for this one Google review.
Okay.
Could you please read this out?
Flamingo Motel, more like the War of 1812 motel. Am I right? I saw a dead Victorian-era child in the vents, and I asked it for licorice. Who likes licorice? Dead kids from the War of 1812, that's who.
What the fuck is that guy talking about?
Have you seen his picture?
Yes.
It's Shrek with a mustache.
It looks a bit like, I hate to say it looks a little bit like Steve Harvey meets Shrek.
Oh yeah, maybe that's what it is.
Maybe.
That was only 2 months ago.
I know. So I kind of want to see this haunted hotel in Rupert, Idaho.
Julio Ricardo Ramirez Montoya II had a fucking great time.
I found this place called what's it? Acapulco.
Yeah.
In Rupert, Idaho for your food. And to be honest, the only reason I picked this was for the sign because it looks like it's hand drawn and they ran out of space.
It is hand drawn.
But if you look on Google Maps as to where this place is, if you fancy the time, there is nothing else around. It is just like warehouses, fields, and Acapulco.
Acapulco's got some nice palm trees on the outside. Painted on the building.
Painted on, yeah. I had to go and look for them then. And then let me quickly remind myself of what the Crazy Tourist says the best 15 things to do are in Rupert, Idaho. Oh yeah. It's basically nothing. Like there's a swimming pool. There's a couple of lakes. There's one that says go to the 4th of July in Rupert, Idaho, but there isn't much else there, to be honest, to begin with. So why you pick Rupert, Idaho is beyond me. I've
got to say, I'm glad I didn't choose Rupert, Idaho.
Yeah.
Twin Falls looks quite nice.
Twin Falls does look nice. I do not remember what was going on. Oh, I do kind of remember what was going on with College Station. To quickly run through it, I'm not going to send you all the links. The hotel was nothing special, but the food was a place called Harvey Washbangers, and all it is a laundrette where you can also have a burger while you wait for your food.
I like it.
That's a cool
idea. While you wait
idea.
for your clothes, right? Not for your food.
Yes, you can have clothes while you wait for your food, and then for the something to do, I went on TripAdvisor for things to do in College Station, Texas. It seems to be entirely scavenger hunts with no actual attractions.
Do you know what? That's my kind of fun.
I like a scavenger hunt. But
Tim, can I ask you? There's two types of people. I think people who liked planned, organised fun, and people who like spontaneous fun. Which are you, and which one's right?
I know you're saying there's two schools of people, but I like to think of myself as down the middle.
No, you're not down the middle. There is no such thing as down the middle.
I guess if I had to lean into it and lean into one or the other, I'd probably go planned.
That is the right answer.
You reckon?
People who like unorganized fun are the worst people. I just don't understand how, like, it's so fucking stressful not knowing what you're doing.
A part of me likes being like, oh, I'm just going to go and do this today.
But everyone's like, oh, well, the best nights out are the not planned ones. And it's like, no, the ones that you don't plan are the ones you end up in fucking Pop World.
Or Wetherspoons.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
no bueno is what it is.
Not
Tim,
very bueno.
remind me in the next episode to talk about, I was talking to someone about my stag do. And I seem to remember there was some fun things about the bar that we ended up in on the first night of my stag do.
I'll be honest,
you'll remember.
I don't remember this.
Nice. Well, we'll talk about it on the next two Blokes from Blighty. Tim, your pub quiz question answer.
Pub quiz question of the week was, what 2024 major international sporting event is taking place in Paris this year? Joey, do you want to take another guess?
The Paris second marathon.
No, it's the 2024 Summer Olympics.
Well, that's bullshit.
I don't think it is. It's probably been in the works for some time.
Paris Marathon 2024 is taking place on the 7th of April. So, fuck you, Tim. Fuck you, ChatGPT. Tim, now that the Fanatic's dead, anything you want to plug?
Just Game Club Pod? I mean, I'm working on something else at the minute, but it's in no way ready to go out to, like, anywhere.
Ooh. Even I don't know what this is.
Oh, you do? You do.
Oh, is it that 360 camera shot of your willy?
Yeah, I had to put a drone on it.
Nice.
I'm like,
you did the sound design going.
I tied a bit of string to the drone, and well, you know where this goes.
Nice. Well, I would like to plug Casting Views and Just Football. I don't know if you listen to Just Football as someone who is not a football fan, but has become a gambling addict quite quickly, Tim.
I'm not a gambling addict.
Every time I saw Tim over the weekend, he was looking at his phone, looking at different bets he'd put on. Tim, at one point, I looked over and you were betting on Counter-Strike Go.
Yeah.
Just fucking stop it.
Counter-Strike's the way, man. It's amazing how much you become more invested in something when you put money on the line.
Oh, no, that is true. I decided to remove the gambling site from my phone for that very reason.
Well, I've only put like 20 quid on there, and I've only put one instance of 20 quid, and that's my lot. But like as soon as that's done, the thing's gone. But right now, I'm still ebbing and flowing on
Tim, you said to me, I don't gamble, I invest. It's just ridiculous.
I put on my sunglasses and started talking about cryptocurrency.
Yeah. Just for clarity, basically, Dad, if you're listening, Tim didn't say that. I once put on Facebook that I put on an ACCA that was like 85-fold.
I don't know what that is.
So it's 85 different football results, and if I get them all right, I would put a penny on it, and if I won, I would make like £28,000.
Did you see the one I put on where I put 4 quid and could have won 36k?
No.
Yeah.
But Dad, I put it on Facebook, and I was like, just for you who are wondering, I'm 10 results down in my ACCA. And Dad messaged me saying, please don't gamble. It's a terrible thing. You'll lose everything. Blah, 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 blah. The whole hoo-ha.
Whole hoo-ha.
It was a whole hoo-ha. But yeah, I'd like to... So wait, sorry. I was saying how good Just Football is before I talked about Tim being a gambling addict. I appeared in a few of their recent episodes talking about how good my football team are, which hasn't happened for 10 years. So check them out. Really good. But also check out Casting Views because Dan is lovely. Check out
Dan.
Talking Smack because, I mean, why wouldn't you? Chatsunami and also the Nerdstalgic as well. Really good ones. All of those ones in our rotation at the start of the show we both really like.
Big fans.
Big whoppers of fans we are.
Big whoppers.
Tim, anything you want to say to the audience?
Take that, you bastard.
Take that, you sexy bastards. We'll see you in a week's time.
Bye.